Well, you ready to strap it on? The election's 5 weeks away. It's going to be so much fun. We're going to continue our conversation about words. We have to talk about this stuff, guys. You know, words can breathe life or they can breathe death. They can bring hope or they can bring despair. And it's important that we speak truth to a lying, name-calling, slanderous world.
I searched the world, but it couldn't fill me. That's empty praise and treasures of faith are never enough. And you came along and put me back together. Every desire is not satisfied here in your love. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing, nothing is better than you. I'm not afraid to show you my weakness, my failures and flaws. Lord, you've seen them all, and you still call me your friend. 'Cause the God of the mountain is the God of the valley. There's not a place your mercy and grace won't find me again. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing, nothing is better than your love. There's nothing, Lord. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing better than you, Lord. There's nothing, nothing is better than you. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who cares. You turn mourning to dancing. You give beauty for ashes. You turn shame into glory. You're the only one who. You turn graves into gardens. You turn graves into gardens. You turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You turn graves. You turn graves into gardens. Oh, you turn bones into armies. You turn seas into highways. You're the only one who can. You're the only one. You're the only one who can. Oh, there's nothing better than you. Oh, there's nothing Nothing is better than you.
I was remembering back, I'm an old guy now, and I was remembering back to a McDonald's commercial a while back with Larry Bird and Michael Jordan. And it was awesome. It was an awesome commercial. They were playing this ridiculous game of horse. And the whole time they were speaking smack to each other before they would take the shots and stuff like that. It was all in good fun. I was thinking back to Muhammad Ali. He was a wordsmith, big time, and a showman. I mean, before he'd get into a fight, he'd taunt his opponent. And he came up with all these poems, and stuff. And the guy was just super fun to listen to, and it was all in good fun. And then I think of like the now dead Korean leader Kim Jong-il. He claims that he went out with words. He claims that he went out and played golf for the first time. First time he ever played golf. What did he do? He shot a 38 under par. It included 11 holes in one. Okay, an amazing claim. And he decided, you know what? I got nothing to prove. This is a simple game. Okay, and I'm retiring from the game after one round of golf. Now that's funny because it's ridiculous, but in fact, it's actually kind of sinister because his words were meant to do something sinister. They were meant to strengthen his repressive and devastating grip on the people of North Korea. So what they did to do this was they came up with legends. They came up with false ideas and stories that were meant to beef up his almost divine status among the people. And the North Korean government would make all these claims. Like, for instance, they said when he was born, a bright star appeared in the sky. Sound familiar? And that not only was there a bright star in the sky, there also was a rainbow that came out of it and came to the ground. The imagery being that he came out of the heavens. And when he assumed power after the death of his father, what did he do? He ran these gulag-style political camps, these prison camps to instill fear into the people. And there was systematic abuse. There were deadly conditions, torture, sexual abuse, starvation rations. Many, many people died in these forced labor camps. And during his 17 years of rule, Kim presided over the country's worst famine, and he brought systematic destruction, systematic crimes against humanity. And one of the ways his control was strengthened was these ridiculous stories, like this golf story that's just stupid. But they wanted to show how powerful and capable and godlike he actually was. As a matter of fact, in North Korea, they actually have this philosophy, it's juche. And juche, it means self-reliance. And in practice, it means there's unconditional loyalty to the leader. And they say, we don't need God, because we have our leader. That's juche. And this propaganda pumps up through these audacious claims, this transcendent, godlike claim. Now, if you're going to smack down that kind of stuff, if you make those kinds of claims, you got to be able to back that smack. And now, here's the thing. When Jesus showed up and started his activities in the first century, he made some pretty audacious claims too. We're going to talk about that today. He claimed certain godlike abilities and a certain godlike identity. But here's the thing, he backed his claims with actual miracles and other actions. But he freaked a lot of people out, and understandably. You see, the Jews, they understood this, the context he was coming into. The Jews understood God as being called the great I am. He was the self-existent one. Moses said to God, if I come to the people of Israel and say to them, the God of your fathers has sent me to you, and they ask me, what is his name? What's the name of God? What shall I say to them? And God said to Moses, I am who I am. That's my name. I am who I am. Tell them, I am sent you. So God identified himself as I am. And just real quick, I want to unpack a little bit of what that means. The implications of that, I am. Okay, these two small but powerful words. The idea is I exist, and I have always existed. God, I'm just there. If you may not know this about our atmosphere, but what scientists will tell us is that it's made up of 21% oxygen and 78% nitrogen. Now, the question becomes, do you believe in nitrogen? Okay, nitrogen really, truthfully, doesn't make any difference in our lives, but it's there. But if you took a poll of people who understood this, they'd say, if you ask them, does nitrogen exist? Well, they'd say, of course, I guess it does exist, you know. But then you return to things that matter. But God says, whether or not it makes a difference in your life, I'm there. I am who I am. And there is no reality behind me, okay? If you ask me, how did I get to be the way I was? Well, you have to have a shrink come down here and probably explain it to you. But if you ask me, I'd tell you, well, I guess I was born into a certain family. I got a certain set of genes. And they made me a certain way. My parents raised me in a certain way. And I've been surrounded by thousands and thousands of influences. That's how I got to be the way I am. But if we ask God how he got to be the way he is, there were no influences on him. Nobody gave him a set of genes. Nobody brought power to influence him. He just has always existed the way that he is. And in that, he doesn't change. He will not change. I am who I am. With him, there is no variation. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. This is the God of the Jews. And he's an inexhaustible source of energy. He's the creator of everything. And he does not faint or grow weary. He invented fusion and fission and all these power sources, and he is bigger and more powerful than any of them. And here's the thing, this is a word that's lost in our world today. He also is truth. When God says, I am who I am, he really is kind of letting us know that we need to have humility about our ideas and put an end to this notion that we can kind of make God into our own image and think our own thoughts about him. God is who he is, and nobody's opinion about him will change him or make any difference at all, which means he also should be able to call the shots in our life. And so Jesus walked into this world, okay, and he came to this group of people who believed in a God who described himself as the great I am. But here's the thing. Jesus, as he started teaching and stuff, he started saying some things that were pretty audacious because they seemed to kind of echo this I am idea. And he made these outrageous claims, these outrageous statements. The first one I'm going to pack with you, these all come from the Gospel of John. There's actually 7 of them. And he said, I am the gate for the sheep. They hear that I am, and it kind of gets their attention. But he says, I'm the gate for the sheep, okay? In Jesus' day, let me explain this one. A shepherd would typically care for maybe 20 to 80 sheep or something like that, we believe. And the shepherd would spend the day with the sheep. He'd walk with them, and the sheep knew his voice, and they trusted the shepherd to take care of them, to protect them, to lead them to water, to food sources, and that type of thing. And during the day, a shepherd would lead the sheep from pasture to pasture, watering hole to watering hole. But at night, it was unsafe to keep the sheep out in the field. And so what they did was they built pens that put them in there. Jesus says, what he's saying is, I am the gate to the pen. It's through me that you can go to the place of safety. And the way this would sometimes work, when all the sheep had been counted and put into the pen at night, the shepherd would lay down across the doorway of the pen so that no intruder, man or beast, could come in without his knowledge. The shepherd became the gate to the pen. It's where he slept. Jesus said, I am the gate. In order to go into the fold and be with the sheep, you must go through me. The implication of that, one of them, is that he's the protector. In order to go out of the door into the pasture, the shepherd is the provider, you must come through me, because the shepherd is the sole determiner of who would go in and out of the pen. Jesus is saying, I lay in that open space. I become the gate. No one goes out but across my body. No one goes in but across my body. That's an audacious claim. And then in the next breath, he puts it slightly differently. He says, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd cares and feeds and protects. And when the sheep would go into the pen at night, sometimes shepherds would share a pen. and stuff. But when the sheep would come in, he'd inspect each and every sheep. If they had injuries on them, he'd tend to them. And sometimes when there was multiple shepherds using the same pen, the relationship between the good shepherd and his sheep became something like a good dog to its owner. Now, when an owner comes home, maybe you have a dog like this, the dog hears the voice of the owner, and lots of dogs just go crazy because they recognize the voice of their owner. But it's different if it's a stranger that comes up the driveway. And so when the sheep were mixed with the other herds in the pen overnight, in the morning, the way they would sort out the sheep is the shepherds would go off to different spaces and they would call out to their sheep. They would call out to the sheep, and the sheep that belonged to a particular shepherd would recognize the voice and come out. And Jesus said, "My sheep know my voice." So Jesus said when he said he was the good shepherd, what was really going on, the backstory of this is he was putting a put down to the religious leaders of the day, because he basically is kind of giving a little wink there that they're not as good. They're in fact sheep wrestlers and thieves and robbers. But he makes this audacious claim that in a world full of competing ideas about life, God, and eternity, only he is worth listening to. Another time he said, "I am." He said, "I am the true vine." Now he moves from animal husbandry to viniculture, and as he said, what he's saying here is, as he unpacked this idea of the vine, he's saying that just as the branch of a tree or the vine on a plant cannot survive unless it stays attached to the life-giving trunk of the plant, cannot find fruitfulness or life unless you stay attached, he's saying unless you stay attached to me, okay, stay connected to me, you will not have life. Unless you stay connected to me, he's making this audacious claim, not only will you not have life, but there will be no fruitfulness in your life. He claims you cannot have this life unless you're attached to me and receive the resources that I can give you, that life-giving sap that can come into your soul. I am the vine, you are the branches. Stay connected to me. A bold claim. Then another time, he said, "I am. I am." In John chapter 6, he said, "I am the bread of life." Now, in this COVID world, you might not be going out to dinner much and that type of thing. But remember back when you used to go out to dinner sometimes, Sometimes you get a salad at the beginning of the meal. What would it often come with? A bread basket, right? That type of thing. And it was just kind of a preparation for the main course. But in the ancient world, in the days that Jesus was speaking to, bread played a far more prominent role than it does oftentimes in our lives today. Bread was what you primarily lived on. He makes this bold assertion. He said, "I am the living bread which came down from heaven. If anyone eats of this bread, he will live forever." Okay? "And the bread that I shall give is my flesh, which I give for the life of the world." In other words, he's making this audacious claim. Just as you could not live without the sustenance that bread gives you, so you will not live into eternity without what I can give you, the bread of life. I am the bread of life. I am the bread of heaven. It's an audacious claim. The fifth claim was, he said, "I am the light of the world." And, what he's saying is the world is full of darkness. There's a lot of darkness in our world today. But he's saying, "I am the light that has come in to the darkness of confusion and sin and brokenness and frustration and depression and loneliness. I can light it up." And scientists would tell us, and we know this just from practical experience, that light is essential. Light is life-giving. Without light, there would be no life. And light also illuminates, it reveals, and shows us what is true. Jesus is claiming to be essential for life. He's claiming that he is the only one that can also reveal truth. Without light, life is impossible. He said, I am the light. And he builds on that. And he says, you want to know the right way to live? You want to know the right path to take in life? He said, I am the way to that life. I am the truth. I am the life. You need me to navigate Without me, you will not be able to find your way. I am your compass and your guide. You can try to go it alone, but why don't you come with me and I'll show you the way. I am the one who can get you there. And then he capstones it with this. I am the resurrection and the life. The idea of resurrection is the revival of death, of dead life. He's making the claim that when you die, I will rise you again. I am the one that can do that. Now those are bold claims, right? He's saying he's basically essential for survival. He's the one that's going to take care of you as the shepherd. He's the gate that protects you and make sure you get in the right place. He's the true vine, the one that can sustain you and with the bread of life as well, and the light he's the light of the world. I am the way, the truth, and the life. I am the resurrection and the life. Words and claims of importance, words and claims of identity. And this I am thing made people nervous, okay? Because all this I am talk was hinting back to the way God described himself in the Older Testament to Moses in the book of Exodus. I am who I am. And people are wondering, Jesus is making all these I am statements. Who does he think he is, right? So they make this connection. It made people suspicious. And Jesus was claiming something of himself that was just category busting and really, frankly, unthinkable. And that somehow he was not just a prophet, a spokesperson for God, or a priest, a representative of God, but somehow God himself, that somehow he's claiming this amazing connection to the great I am. And it turns out that these suspicions were right. They were right to hold them. Because he made these 7 I am statements and gave a caveat on the back of it about these analogies to the importance of connecting with him. But they were really a setup for the most outrageous claim he ever made, the boldest statement that he ever made. This is how it worked. It came down in John chapter 8, and it says this. He says, to the Jews who had believed him, Jesus said, if you hold to my teaching, you really are my disciple. The idea of even like a vine holds on to the trunk. Okay, you hold on to that. Okay, I am the true vine. Hold on to my teaching. And then you will know the truth, and the truth will set you free, which sounds an awful lot like I am the way, the truth, and the life. And then they answered him, the people who were against him, answered him, they said we're Abraham's descendants and have never been slaves, which really wasn't true. Israel were slaves at one time, but never been slaves to anyone. How can you say that we shall be set free? What are you talking about? Okay? And Jesus replied, he said, verily I tell you, anyone who sins, does wrong stuff, is a slave to sin. Now, a slave has no permanent place in the family of God, but a son belongs to it forever. So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. Okay? You'll be in that place of safety, that place of freedom, where the gate is controlled by me. He says, I know you are Abraham's descendants by bloodline, and yet you're looking for a way to kill me because you have no room in your heart for my words that I want to speak into you. And he makes another bold claim. He says, I'm telling you what I have seen in the presence of the Father, that I'm communicating to you what God himself has shown me, and you are doing what you have heard from your father. He's making a sinister implication that their father is not the God, the great I am. And then they protested. They said, Abraham is our father. Abraham. Jesus said, if you were Abraham's children, then you would do what Abraham did. And as it is, you're looking for a way to kill me, a man who has told you the truth that he has heard from God. Abraham did not do such things. You are doing the works of your own father. Again, a sinister implication. Then they started the name calling. They said, we're not illegitimate children. And they were making a reference to this idea that Jesus, that Joseph wasn't his earthly father. The only father we have is God himself. Jesus said to them, if God were your father, you would love me, for I have come here from God. Bold claim. I have not come on my own. God sent me. He sent me. Why is my language not clear to you? Because you're unable to hear what I say. So now the fight is just really going. And now Jesus sticks it to him and he gets clear about what he's been implying. You belong to your father, the devil. And you want to carry out your father, the devil's desires. He was a murderer. They were plotting his murder. He was a murderer from the beginning, not holding to the truth, for there is no truth in him. And listen to these words that speak directly into our culture right now. For when he lies, he speaks his mother tongue, his native tongue, for he is a liar and the father of all lies. And yet I tell you the truth, but you won't believe me. Can any of you prove me guilty of doing anything wrong, of sin? I'm telling the truth. Why don't you believe me? Whoever belongs to God hears what God says. The reason you do not hear is because you do not. He's saying this to the religious leaders. You do not belong to God. Jews were really upset, okay? And so now they start using like a racial slur against him. And said, the Jews answered, aren't we right in saying you're just a Samaritan? Which is a racial slur. And demon-possessed? He said, I'm not possessed by a demon, but I honor my Father, and you dishonor me. Okay, but I'm honoring my Father. So what does that say about you? I am not seeking glory for myself, for there is one who seeks it, and he is the judge. Very truly I tell you, whoever obeys my word will never see death. I am the resurrection and the life. And at this they exclaim, now we know that you're demon-possessed. Abraham died and so did the prophets, and yet you say whoever obeys your word will never taste death. And these guys all died, okay? Are you greater than our father Abraham? He died and so did all the prophets. Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Jesus replied, if I glorify myself, my glory means nothing. My Father, whom you claim as your God, is the one who glorifies me. Though you do not know him, I know him. If I said I did not, I would be a liar to you, because it's true. And I do know him, and I obey his word. Your father Abraham rejoiced at the thought of seeing my day. Think about what he's saying. That Abraham rejoiced at this idea that Jesus had come into the world. And then it says, then he said, he saw it and was glad. He's making this outrageous claim that Abraham, he's been involved with Abraham, and Abraham's been involved in his life. You know, somehow. Then they said, you are not yet 50 years old. And they said to him, you have seen Abraham? Are you kidding me? He died a long, long time ago. Okay? And then Jesus said, very truly, I tell you, before Abraham was born, I am. He makes the claim. And at this, because they understood what he was saying clearly, he was claiming to be equal to God. They picked up stones to stone him, but Jesus hid himself, slipping away from the temple grounds. And it's with that statement that Jesus makes the most audacious claim of all time. Okay? He's hinting at this audacious claim. He was hinting at it, and now he's making it plain that he was the great I am come in the flesh, what we celebrate at Christmas. So in Jesus, the implication of this, we can experience the God who said, I am the pre-existent one. I am the powerful one. I am the one that is truth. There's none like me, okay? I am before all things. I am after all things. This is that person in flesh, is the claim that he made, who exists and whose personality and power is owed only to himself, who never changes, okay? And through whom all power and energy that is conceivable in the universe flows, and to whom all people should conform their ideas, their outlooks, their purposes, and their affections. I am who I am in flesh. This is the message of Jesus. I wanted to remind you of that today because we're living in a crazy world. We need an anchor for our souls. And Jesus says, connect to me. I am the way, the truth, and life. I am the vine. I am the true vine. Stay connected to me, and you're going to make it. It's not going to be a problem. I am the shepherd. I will protect you. I will provide for you, even in a COVID-19 world. Let's pray. Father, we thank you that we can enjoy the protection of the gate and the provision of the Good Shepherd. We can experience productivity even when our bodies fail us. If we stay connected to Jesus, we can experience fruitfulness and life because he is the bread of life. He provides. He is the light of the world, the illumination to find our way, the way, the truth, and the one through whom we can have resurrection in life. We thank you for this hope. We thank you for the hope of heaven that you provided by sending your Son into this earth that so desperately needs him. It's in your name we pray with great thankfulness. Amen. So thanks for joining us today. And hey, if we can help you in any way, rcvc.life. Contact us. Connect with us. We'd love to help you. We'd love to provide for you, give you a kick in the butt or a big old virtual hug if that's what you need. We'd love to encourage you and help you out in that way. And thank you for the way you've been encouraging us, keeping our doors open figuratively. But I want to remind you that we are meeting in person, 9:30 on Sunday mornings right now. We're meeting at an outdoor venue. It's really wonderful. It's shaded. It's really nice. We've really been enjoying it. It's been a lot of fun, great views and all that kind of stuff. And we bring the same message that gets recorded and released on Sunday mornings every week. Only you get to hang out with some people, some really great people, actually. And so we hope you join us. And God bless you. See ya.
Again, I need you, Lord, I need you. Walking down this desert road, water for my thirsty soul. I need you, Lord, I need you. Your forgiveness is like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of symphony to my ears. It's like holy water on my skin. Yes, Lord. Dead men walking, slave to sin. I want to know about being born again. I need you. Oh God, I need you. So take me to the riverside. Take me on and baptize. I need you. Oh God, I need you. Your forgiveness is like sweet, sweet honey on my lips. It's like the sound of symphony to my ears. It's like holy water on my skin. I don't wanna abuse your grace. God, I need it every day. It's the only thing that ever really makes me wanna change. I don't wanna abuse your grace. God, I need it every day. It's the only thing that ever really makes me wanna change. I don't wanna abuse your grace. God, I need it every day. It's the only thing that ever really change. I don't want to abuse your grace. God, I need it every day.
Is the only thing that ever really makes me wanna change.
Your forgiveness
It's like
sweet, sweet honey on my lips.
it's like the
Sound of symphony to my ears.
It's like holy water.
Your forgiveness